Chess is a game of strategy, intellect, and symbolism, where each piece represents a unique aspect of human psychology. Among them, the knight stands out with its unconventional movement and remarkable ability to influence the game in unexpected ways. In this video, we'll explore the psychology of the knight in chess, diving into its symbolic meaning, strategic applications, and what it teaches us about thinking creatively and navigating life's challenges. Let's unravel the mysteries of this enigmatic piece and see how its lessons go far beyond the chessboard. The knight's movement in chess is unlike any other piece on the board. It follows an L-shaped pattern, jumping 2 squares in one direction and one in a perpendicular direction or vice versa. This seemingly unconventional way of moving makes the knight a unique figure in the chess universe. Unlike the rook, which travels in straight lines across the board, or the bishop, which moves diagonally, the knight's method is almost unpredictable at first glance. Its ability to hop over other pieces adds another layer of mystery to its power, allowing it to influence the game in ways that no other piece can replicate. In a broader sense, the knight's movement can be seen as a metaphor for thinking outside the box. When we encounter obstacles in our lives, whether they're physical, emotional, or mental, we often try to find the quickest and most direct route to overcome them. The knight, however, shows us that sometimes the best way forward isn't the straight line. Instead, it's about finding unexpected angles, bypassing obstacles with cleverness, and looking at problems from multiple perspectives. The knight's jump over other pieces mirrors how we can leap over challenges in life by thinking creatively and not being constrained by conventional methods. The knight's ability to leap over other pieces is a powerful psychological symbol. It suggests that even when we are surrounded by obstacles, there's always an opportunity to rise above them. The knight can move through crowded situations where other pieces might be stuck. This can teach us the importance of adaptability and the power of persistence. While the bishop might be hindered by pawns and the rook can be blocked by other pieces, the knight is never bound by such limitations. It serves as a reminder that no matter how complex or daunting a situation may seem, there's often a way to transcend the barriers in front of us. This ability to move through complex situations by taking alternative paths can be likened to finding new solutions to problems that might otherwise seem insurmountable. In terms of strategy, the knight's unique movement makes it a highly versatile piece. It's often the knight's placement in the center of the board that grants it its true power. From this position, it has the ability to control a wide range of squares, making it a dynamic force that can impact the game in unexpected ways. This centrality is crucial because it allows the knight to reach a variety of positions, both offensively and defensively, with great speed and efficiency. The knight embodies the idea that strategic success is not only about power and control, but also about adaptability. The ability to move in multiple directions with a single piece offers a glimpse into the power of thinking flexibly and being prepared to take unconventional routes when necessary. The knight's movement pattern also introduces an element of surprise into the game. Chess, at its core, is about anticipating your opponent's moves and controlling the flow of the game. The knight, with its unexpected ability to jump over obstacles, brings an element of unpredictability to the board. This unpredictability is often a double-edged sword. While it can surprise opponents and throw off their plans, it can also make the knight difficult to control. In life, too, we encounter situations where our own actions might take unexpected turns. Embracing these moments can lead to breakthroughs and discoveries that might not have been possible through traditional or conventional means. This unique form of movement also makes the night a symbol of individuality. It refuses to follow the typical paths laid out for it by the other pieces, where other pieces follow set patterns, be it horizontal, vertical, or diagonal. The night is free to go anywhere. This non-conformity speaks to the importance of embracing our own unique qualities and ways of thinking. It suggests that we should never limit ourselves to the expected or predictable paths. Instead, by embracing our own strengths and qualities, we can make an impact that is just as significant as any other. The night's pattern of movement also offers an intriguing lesson in the importance of timing. Since it is able to jump over other pieces, it's not constrained by the rhythm of the game in the same way as other pieces. This provides the player with a chance to act in the right moment, often when the opponent's defenses are not expecting it. Timing and positioning are key elements in life as well. Understanding when to act and when to hold back, when to make a move and when to wait for the right opportunity can make all the difference. The night, with its ability to move in surprising ways at the perfect moment, highlights the significance of being prepared and patient until the time is right. In a psychological sense, the night can also be viewed as a symbol of perseverance. It's not the fastest or most powerful piece on the board, but it is resilient. It doesn't give up when faced with barriers. It simply finds another way to move forward. This persistence in the face of obstacles is something that everyone can relate to at some point in their life. The night teaches us that, even when the path is unclear or blocked, we should keep searching for ways to progress, because there is always another direction, another move to make, even if it doesn't follow the conventional rules of how we think things should be done. Ultimately, the night is more than just a piece on a chessboard. It represents a mindset, a way of approaching challenges, strategy, and life itself. The lesson of the night is that there are always multiple paths to take, and sometimes the most effective way forward is not the most obvious. Its unique movement, its ability to jump over obstacles, and its resilience in finding new ways to contribute to the game reflect the very qualities that make someone a successful problem solver and creative thinker in life. The knight's journey on the chessboard serves as a constant reminder that, when faced with adversity, it's not always about following the rules, but about embracing flexibility, creativity, and the courage to break free from the expected. The knight's true potential is unlocked when it is positioned in the center of the board. Unlike many other pieces, which are more effective on the edges or corners, the knight thrives when placed at the heart of the game. This central position is not only strategic, but deeply symbolic, illustrating the profound value of being in the right place at the right time. When positioned centrally, the knight has access to more squares than when it's placed on the periphery of the board. From the center, it can influence a wider range of actions, both offensively and defensively. It can jump to any of the adjacent squares and, due to its unique movement, it can cover more ground than most pieces in a similar time frame. The psychology behind this idea is striking. The knight teaches us that position is everything. In life, just like in chess, our ability to effect change and achieve our goals depends largely on where we stand. Being in the right place at the right time can drastically alter the course of our journey. Often, people feel the need to be constantly moving or shifting focus, but the knight reminds us that stability and centrality often grant us the best vantage point for success. From the center, the knight can influence every part of the board, showing that strategic central positioning creates a foundation from which we can extend our reach. In chess, when a knight is placed in the center, it doesn't just sit passively. It becomes a force of active potential. It can jump in multiple directions, offering both tactical and strategic advantages. Its unique movement means it is never bound to a single direction. Rather, it can leap across the board, making it a dynamic asset in the battle for control. From the center, a knight can also threaten the most valuable squares and create a network of influence. This central position allows it to move efficiently, covering important areas of the board without any wasted effort. The piece gains agility, flexibility, and the capacity to adapt to different situations quickly. This centrality also mirrors the importance of balance in our own lives. It suggests that by staying grounded, finding balance, and understanding where we can make the most impact, we can wield our own power more effectively. Just as a knight controls a range of squares from the center of the board, we too can control a broad array of outcomes if we position ourselves in places that maximize our potential. Central positioning in life often involves understanding where our strengths lie, what opportunities are available, and how we can best leverage our resources to create the most beneficial results. Another aspect of the knight's central positioning is its ability to respond quickly to changes in the game. Since the knight can jump to different areas of the board, it is not confined to one area or strategy. If an opponent suddenly makes a move, the knight can adjust almost instantly, maintaining its agility and flexibility. In life, this can be seen as the value of adaptability. When we are centered either in terms of our career, relationships, or personal growth, we can react more efficiently to shifts in circumstances. We are not distracted by chaos or peripheral details. Instead, we are aware of our surroundings and prepared to respond with intention. The center of the board also represents the heart of the action, and a knight placed there has the most opportunities to make critical moves. In chess, this often means threatening the opponent's king or targeting important squares. For the knight, the center is where it can take action in every direction, becoming both a defensive and offensive powerhouse. This central positioning allows it to threaten multiple points on the board, keeping the opponent on edge. In life, this concept suggests that when we place ourselves in positions of influence, whether by honing our skills, building our networks, or cultivating a deeper understanding of the world around us, we can simultaneously defend our own interests while also making strides toward achieving our goals. The idea of central positioning extends beyond the physical board and into the psychological. Psychologically speaking, being in the center can represent a sense of inner peace and confidence. The knight's ability to affect so many squares from a central position can be seen as a metaphor for being emotionally and mentally in tune with one's own core strengths. When we are self-aware and grounded, we can handle challenges from any direction. The knight, in this sense, exemplifies how maintaining a strong internal position gives us the capacity to respond with clarity and purpose, even when the external world around us is in flux. This centrality also highlights the strategic importance of timing. A knight placed centrally can strike at any time, seizing opportunities when they present themselves. This ability to react at the perfect moment is crucial, not only in chess, but also in life. Success often comes down to being in the right place at the right time, and when we are balanced and focused, we are more likely to recognize and act on opportunities as they arise. The night teaches us that sometimes it is not about charging ahead blindly or constantly moving. Instead, it is about patiently waiting for the right moment, knowing that once the time comes, we can act with precision and impact. Moreover, the night's central position emphasizes the importance of proactive rather than reactive behavior. Many players find themselves in situations where they are constantly reacting to their opponent's moves, but a knight placed centrally has the advantage of being both reactive and proactive. It can defend when necessary, but it can also be positioned to launch an attack at any given time. This duality teaches us that by positioning ourselves properly, we can control the flow of events rather than just responding to them. It reminds us that we do not have to wait for opportunities to come to us. We can go after them, creating opportunities by our very presence and positioning. Being centrally located also enhances the knight's ability to create pressure, and pressure in life often leads to breakthroughs. By being in the center of the action, the knight can apply pressure to multiple points on the board, forcing the opponent to react. This ability to influence the game in multiple directions is a powerful reminder that in life, the more knowledge and control we have, the more influence we can exert over the direction of events, whether in negotiations, leadership, or personal growth. Centrality, both in terms of positioning and awareness, gives us the leverage to shape the outcome. Finally, the knight's ability to reach across the board from a central position also teaches us about focus. From the middle of the game, the knight has a clear view of the entire board, allowing it to stay engaged with the ongoing battle and to be ready for any sudden developments. Similarly, when we remain focused and grounded in the midst of chaos or multiple opportunities, we can make decisions that take into account the full picture, rather than getting distracted by isolated details. The knight's centered position reveals the power of focus and strategy, urging us to avoid spreading ourselves too thin and to channel our energy toward areas where we can have the most impact. In conclusion, the knight's central positioning serves as a profound lesson in both chess and life. It speaks to the importance of balance, timing, adaptability, and strategic foresight. By placing ourselves in the right positions, we can maximize our potential, influence our surroundings, and navigate challenges with greater ease and effectiveness. The knight teaches us that in order to make a meaningful impact, we must understand the value of being in the right place, ready to act with precision, adaptability, and strength when the time comes. The knight's ability to surprise and disrupt the opponent's plans is one of its most powerful psychological traits. Unlike other pieces, which move in predictable patterns, the knight's L shape is unconventional, allowing it to jump over other pieces and create unexpected opportunities. This capacity for surprise is what makes the knight so valuable in both offense and defense, as it can quickly change the direction of the game, forcing the opponent to rethink their strategy. The knight teaches us that unpredictability can be an invaluable asset, both in chess and in life. By embracing the element of surprise, we can disrupt the expected flow of events and take advantage of openings that others may overlook. In chess, a player's primary goal is to anticipate their opponent's moves and control the board. This requires a deep understanding of the opponent's strategy and the ability to predict their next steps. However, the knight introduces a sense of uncertainty into the equation. Its ability to jump over pieces and strike from unexpected angles forces the opponent to constantly reassess the position of the game. The knight's presence often changes the dynamics of the board, introducing a layer of complexity that makes it difficult to predict where the next threat will come from. This is the essence of its surprise element. It's not only about where the knight currently is, but about the potential it creates by being able to move in such an unpredictable way. This unpredictability also makes the knight a great tool for setting traps. By placing the knight in a seemingly harmless position, a player can lure the opponent into making a move that opens up a more devastating opportunity. The knight's movement is often difficult to calculate, and this ambiguity can cause the opponent to miscalculate, thinking the knight is less threatening than it truly is. In this way, the knight is like a master of deception. Its true power lies in its ability to create confusion and misdirection. In life, we often encounter situations where the most straightforward or obvious approach isn't the most effective one. Just as the knight capitalizes on its ability to surprise, we too can use creativity and unconventional thinking to shift the odds in our favor. Surprise is not just about attacking when the opponent is least expecting it. It's also about the way the knight can disrupt defensive plans. When an opponent is well protected and seems secure, a knight can often break through by jumping over their defenses, threatening key positions from angles that were previously considered safe. This aspect of the knight's movement teaches us an important lesson in breaking through barriers that others might think are insurmountable. Just as the knight can bypass defensive pieces, we too can often find creative solutions to problems that seem locked or rigid. The knight's ability to penetrate seemingly impenetrable defenses is a reminder that even in difficult situations, there is often a way through if we are willing to approach the problem from an unexpected angle. The power of surprise is especially potent in the context of attack. The knight, when positioned correctly, can deliver a devastating blow to the opponent's position in ways that no other piece can replicate. Its ability to jump over pawns and other pieces means that it can often target vulnerable spots on the board that the opponent has not protected adequately. The knight's movements force the opponent to adjust their strategy, as they are never quite sure where the next threat will come from. This constant pressure forces them to think on their feet and make decisions quickly, often leading to mistakes or miscalculations. In life, this is a reminder that unpredictability can be a powerful tool when trying to achieve a goal. By keeping our intentions and actions less predictable, we can keep others guessing, gaining an advantage in situations where direct confrontation might not be the best approach. Another key aspect of the knight's surprise is its ability to create multiple threats at once. Because the knight can move to so many different squares in a short amount of time, it can put pressure on several points simultaneously. This constant threat of multiple attacks forces the opponent to constantly reconsider their options, dividing their attention and resources. In many cases, this leads to the opponent being overwhelmed and making mistakes. The knight's ability to apply pressure in several directions at once is a powerful reminder of the value of diversification. In life, this could mean spreading our efforts across different areas or pursuing multiple opportunities at once, rather than putting all our focus on one singular goal. By creating multiple avenues for success, we can increase our chances of achieving something meaningful, all while keeping the opposition off balance and unsure of where to focus their energy. The knight's surprise ability also plays a psychological role in influencing the mental state of the opponent. Just as in any game, the mental pressure of facing unexpected attacks can cause anxiety and uncertainty. When a knight threatens multiple squares or makes an unexpected jump across the board, it forces the opponent to consider multiple scenarios at once. This cognitive overload can lead to mistakes, as the opponent may focus too much on preventing one threat while leaving others exposed. The psychological aspect of surprise in chess is about causing the opponent to second-guess themselves, doubt their strategy, and become overwhelmed by the complexity of the situation. The knight, by introducing unpredictable movement, amplifies the psychological pressure that is central to any strategic game. In life, the psychological pressure of unpredictability can be equally powerful. Whether in business, relationships, or personal endeavors, introducing an element of surprise can keep others on their toes and disrupt their expectations. By not always following the expected path or being too predictable in our actions, we can create a sense of excitement or curiosity that forces others to engage with us more deeply. This doesn't mean we should always aim to be deceptive or manipulative. Rather, it's about embracing the creativity and adaptability that the knight represents. By showing flexibility in how we approach challenges and interactions, we can surprise others in ways that lead to stronger relationships, better opportunities, and greater success. Surprise is also about seizing moments that others might overlook. The knight's unconventional movement allows it to move to squares that are otherwise considered less valuable or underappreciated. These hidden opportunities are where the knight can surprise its opponent, often by exploiting positions that others would dismiss. In life, this teaches us the value of looking beyond the obvious. Success is often not about chasing after the most visible opportunities, but rather about finding the ones that others might overlook or undervalue. Like the knight, we can find hidden gems of possibility in places where others fail to look. At a deeper level, the surprise aspect of the knight also reflects a broader philosophy of thinking creatively. It encourages us to move beyond the conventional and embrace new approaches to problems. The knight's movement is not bound by traditional patterns, and this freedom allows it to bring fresh ideas and tactics to the table. In life, too, the ability to surprise others and ourselves often comes from breaking free of the rules, the expected outcomes, and the ordinary ways of thinking. This freedom to act unpredictably can lead to remarkable results and provide us with a powerful sense of agency over our circumstances. Ultimately, the knight's ability to surprise is what makes it a powerful tool in the game of chess. It is the element of unpredictability that keeps the opponent guessing, forces them to adapt, and creates openings that would otherwise remain concealed. In life, embracing the art of surprise can transform how we approach challenges and opportunities. By thinking creatively, remaining adaptable, and seizing moments that others might dismiss, we too can harness the power of surprise to shape our own destinies and influence the world around us. Just like the knight, we can take unexpected leaps and create opportunities in ways that others would never expect, giving us an edge in the game of life. The knight's relationship with the bishop is one of the most fascinating dynamics in chess, representing two contrasting approaches to strategy and movement. The bishop, with its ability to move across long diagonals, is often seen as a symbol of long-term planning, control, and precision. Its power lies in its reach, its ability to dominate entire lines of squares with minimal effort. In contrast, the knight is often thought of as a more tactical piece, operating in bursts of energy and surprise, moving in unpredictable ways. This dichotomy between the knight and the bishop is not only a tactical consideration on the chessboard, but also a psychological exploration of how we approach challenges, decisions, and opportunities in life. At first glance, the bishop's ability to sweep across the board in long, uninterrupted lines might seem superior to the knight's seemingly erratic L shapes. The bishop can control vast expanses of the board, especially when positioned centrally, and its straightforward movement allows it to predictably influence the game from a distance. The knight, on the other hand, lacks this same reach and is often confined to smaller, more localized areas of the board. However, what the knight lacks in range, it makes up for in flexibility, mobility, and surprise. It is able to jump over other pieces and create threats in unexpected places, while the bishop, bound to its diagonal paths, can be easily blocked or restricted by pawns and other pieces. The psychological contrast between the knight and the bishop is telling. The bishop represents those who think in terms of long-term goals, who are willing to plan several moves ahead and work with precision. Its power lies in its consistency and its ability to maintain control over a broad area. The knight, however, represents those who prefer flexibility and adaptability. Instead of relying on a long, clear path to success, the knight's strength comes from its ability to pivot and adjust quickly, responding to opportunities as they arise. This contrast can be seen as a metaphor for different approaches to problem-solving in life. One, more linear and methodical, the other more fluid and dynamic. While the bishop can be highly effective when it has control of open, clear diagonals, its power is diminished in congested positions. Pawns, knights, and other pieces often block its path, restricting its ability to influence the game. The knight, in contrast, thrives in crowded positions. Its ability to jump over pieces gives it an inherent advantage in such situations, as it is not constrained by the presence of other pieces on the board. This highlights an important distinction in how we approach obstacles in life. The bishop's method of progress is akin to a clear and direct path that might be blocked by unexpected difficulties. The knight, however, teaches us that even when the path seems obstructed, we can still find ways to advance. Sometimes, progress doesn't come from charging forward in a straight line, but from finding unexpected ways around barriers, ways that others might overlook or dismiss. Another key difference between the knight and the bishop is their interaction with pawns. Pawns, which are the most numerous and seemingly insignificant pieces on the board, play an important role in shaping the dynamics of the game. The bishop, due to its reliance on clear diagonals, can be hampered by the arrangement of pawns. A pawn structure can block its potential, preventing it from advancing or controlling key areas. In contrast, the knight is largely unaffected by the presence of pawns. It can jump over them, bypassing the obstructions that might otherwise impede the bishop. This ability to transcend barriers speaks to the knight's role as a symbol of resilience and adaptability. It teaches us that, when faced with limitations or obstacles, we don't always need to clear the path ahead of us. Sometimes, we simply need to find a way to move around or leap over those obstacles. When placed in an open field, the bishop can dominate the board, especially when it works in tandem with other pieces to control key diagonals. Its power grows exponentially when there is nothing to obstruct its movement, and it can apply consistent pressure to the opponent. However, this dominance can be fleeting. As the game progresses and more pieces come into play, the bishop may find itself blocked or limited in its ability to influence the game. The knight, on the other hand, is always adaptable, able to move around, jump over, and adjust its position as needed. In this way, the knight's strength lies in its ability to respond quickly to changing circumstances, whereas the bishop's strength lies in its ability to control a long-term strategy when the conditions are right. The lesson here is that both approaches are valid, but their effectiveness depends largely on the context in which they are used. The knight's ability to surprise and its versatility make it an exceptional piece in the opening phases of the game, as it can easily adapt to a wide range of positions. Its jumps allow it to threaten key squares and force the opponent to defend in ways that might not have been anticipated. The bishop, while powerful in open positions, is less effective in these early stages when the board is more crowded. This difference between the two pieces is a powerful reminder that the best approach to any situation often depends on timing. There are times in life when long-term planning and consistency, represented by the bishop, are essential for success. But there are also times when flexibility, quick thinking, and the ability to seize the moment as exemplified by the knight are what will carry us forward. The contrast between the knight and the bishop also plays out in their interactions with the opposing king. The bishop, with its long reach and ability to control a broad range of squares, is often more effective at forcing a checkmate in the later stages of the game. It can dominate key lines and create direct threats that are difficult for the king to evade. The knight, while not as powerful in this regard, can still be an essential part of a checkmate, especially in more complex situations. Its ability to jump over pieces and control squares from unexpected angles makes it a key piece in squeezing the opponent's king into a corner where it has limited options. This dynamic is a reminder that sometimes it's not about overpowering the opposition with sheer force, but about creating a situation where the opponent has no place to go. The knight's unique movement enables it to contribute in these moments, often in ways that are subtle and hard to predict. In the end, the bishop and the knight are both crucial to a successful chess strategy, but they embody different approaches to thinking and problem-solving. The bishop represents long-term vision, control, and precision, while the knight symbolizes flexibility, adaptability, and tactical brilliance. Neither approach is inherently superior to the other, but their value is context-dependent. Understanding when to embrace the steady, long-term influence of the bishop and when to adopt the knight's unpredictable, nimble style can make all the difference in a game. Likewise, in life, the key to success often lies in knowing which approach to take at the right moment, whether it's steady planning, like the bishop, or creative problem-solving and quick thinking, like the knight. Both have their place, and the ability to balance the two is what makes a truly effective strategist. The knight's unique ability to create forks is a fundamental part of its tactical strength, and it also serves as a powerful metaphor for how we can approach moments of opportunity in life. In chess, a fork occurs when a single piece, in this case the knight, attacks two or more of the opponent's pieces simultaneously, creating a situation where the opponent cannot defend all their valuable pieces at once. This tactic, while simple in concept, is deceptively effective because it exploits the knight's ability to jump over pieces and threaten multiple targets from unexpected angles. The psychology of the fork highlights the importance of creating situations in which our opponent, or the challenges before us, are placed in a position where they cannot respond to all threats. By understanding the nature of the knight's fork, we can apply similar principles to our own lives, learning how to create leverage in moments of conflict, negotiation, or decision-making. A knight's fork is not just about attacking multiple pieces, it is about timing and precision. The knight can create a fork when the opponent is least prepared for it. When other pieces are clustered together or the opponent's defenses are misaligned, the knight can swoop in and threaten multiple targets. This sudden shift in the balance of power forces the opponent to react quickly, often leading to mistakes or rushed decisions. In life, this can be seen as the ability to identify the right moment to act, the moment when everything falls into place and when our actions can have the greatest impact. Like the knight, we must be attuned to our surroundings, aware of where our opportunities lie, and ready to seize them when they arise. Timing and awareness are critical to creating these moments of leverage. One of the reasons the knight is so effective in creating forks is because of its unconventional movement. Unlike other pieces, which move in straight lines or diagonals, the knight's L-shaped jump is hard to anticipate. It can bypass other pieces and appear in places where the opponent might not expect it. This ability to appear out of nowhere and attack multiple targets is what makes the knight such a formidable piece. It teaches us that sometimes the best way to gain leverage is through unpredictability. Rather than following the expected path or conforming to the norms, the knight thrives by defying those norms and attacking from angles that others may overlook. By thinking outside the box, we too can create situations where we have multiple opportunities to advance, to negotiate, or to gain the upper hand. The psychological effect of a fork is significant, as it forces the opponent into a position where they must choose which piece to save. In most cases, they can only save one, leaving the other to be captured. This creates a sense of pressure and urgency, and often, in the rush to make a decision, the opponent will make a mistake. This tactic of forcing difficult choices can be incredibly powerful in any situation where negotiation, conflict, or decision-making is involved. Just as the knight can force an opponent to prioritize one piece over another, we too can use the principle of the fork to create dilemmas for others. By presenting multiple options or threats, we can influence the decisions of those around us, pushing them to react in ways that benefit us or further our goals. In more complex situations, the knight's ability to create multiple forks can become even more effective. As the game progresses, the board becomes more crowded with pieces, and the knight's flexibility allows it to navigate through these crowded spaces, threatening multiple pieces in quick succession. This constant pressure forces the opponent to constantly reassess their options and react to new threats. In life, this translates to the idea of diversification, creating multiple options or opportunities so that when one route is blocked, we have others to rely on. Like the knight's fork, we can generate several avenues of action that keep our options open and force others to focus their attention on more than one target, spreading their resources thin and creating openings for us to exploit. The fork is also a reminder of the power of patience. Often, the best time to create a fork comes not from rushing in with force, but from waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. The knight does not simply jump into the fray without consideration. It waits for the right alignment of pieces, the right positioning, and the right opportunity. In life, this can be seen in the importance of strategic patience, knowing when to wait, when to act, and when to let the right opportunity present itself. We don't always need to force situations to happen. Sometimes, the key is to be patient and wait for the moment when we can make our move with maximum impact. The knight's ability to create a fork in the right moment shows us that patience, combined with precision, can often lead to the most rewarding outcomes. A critical aspect of the knight's fork is its ability to disrupt the opponent's strategy and force them into a defensive position. When a knight creates a fork, it shifts the entire focus of the game, as the opponent must now scramble to protect their pieces. This psychological shift forces the opponent to be reactive rather than proactive, taking them out of their rhythm and disrupting their plans. In life, this reflects the idea of shifting the dynamics of a situation by presenting challenges or opportunities that force others to reconsider their position. By creating moments where others are forced to react to us, we can gain control over the flow of events and influence the direction of a conversation, negotiation, or decision. The knight's fork also emphasizes the importance of resource management. In chess, each piece has its own value, and the decision of which piece to sacrifice can have long-term consequences. When a knight creates a fork, it doesn't just attack pieces at random. It is targeting valuable pieces that, if left unprotected, could have a significant impact on the game. This principle can be applied to life by understanding the value of our resources, whether they be time, money, energy, or relationships, and knowing when to prioritize one resource over another. The knight teaches us that, in order to create leverage, we must be able to identify what is most valuable in a given situation and strategically target those assets to gain an advantage. Another dimension of the knight's fork is its ability to create multiple layers of pressure. Often, a fork does not involve a single threat, but rather a combination of threats that force the opponent into a situation where they cannot escape unharmed. The knight can attack a piece while simultaneously threatening a more valuable piece, making it difficult for the opponent to defend both. In life, this teaches us that sometimes the most effective strategy is not to focus all our efforts on one goal or opportunity, but to create multiple pressures in different areas. By having multiple goals, projects, or opportunities in play at the same time, we increase the likelihood that one of them will succeed, all while keeping others engaged with the various threats we are presenting. The knight's fork can also be used as a tool for controlling the tempo of the game. By creating forks at key moments, the knight forces the opponent to react, thereby dictating the pace of the game. This aspect of the knight's movement teaches us that sometimes we can control a situation not by being the loudest or the most obvious, but by carefully positioning ourselves to influence how others respond. In life, being able to control the tempo of a situation, whether in a meeting, a negotiation, or a personal relationship, can give us a significant advantage. By making strategic moves and creating dilemmas, we can keep others off balance and in a state of constant reaction, rather than allowing them to control the flow of events. Ultimately, the knight's ability to create forks is a masterclass in strategic thinking, timing, and resource management. It is a perfect blend of creativity and precision, teaching us to look for opportunities to create leverage, disrupt others' plans, and force difficult decisions. Whether in chess or in life, the principles behind the knight's fork, patience, unpredictability, and the ability to generate multiple threats are crucial tools for achieving success. The knight's mastery of the fork shows us that sometimes the most powerful moves come not from sheer force, but from creating situations where others are forced to react to us, ultimately giving us the upper hand. The knight's role as an unpredictable piece, capable of jumping over other pieces and creating surprises, is a profound lesson in resilience and adaptability. In chess, the knight does not follow the predictable, linear paths that many of the other pieces take. Instead, its movement is unconventional and elusive, making it a piece that thrives in chaos, unpredictability, and complex positions. Its strength lies in its ability to move around obstacles, defy expectations, and create opportunities where others see none. This unique characteristic of the knight speaks to the psychological concept of adaptability, the ability to adjust to changing circumstances and find solutions in even the most challenging situations. The knight's resilience is particularly evident in crowded positions. When the board becomes cluttered with pieces, the linear movements of other pieces can become obstructed or hindered. But the knight is unaffected by this. Its ability to jump over obstacles allows it to move freely even when other pieces are stuck or restricted. This resilience teaches us that in life, we don't always need a clear path or an unobstructed route to succeed. Often, the key to overcoming challenges lies in our ability to find creative solutions, to think beyond the constraints that seem to limit us, and to navigate around the obstacles that others might see as insurmountable. Furthermore, the knight's resilience is a metaphor for mental toughness. In chess, it is not uncommon for a player to be put in a position where they are surrounded by threats and faced with difficult choices. It is in these moments that the knight shines, as its resilience allows it to continue to function and be effective even in seemingly hopeless situations. Just as the knight can often find an unexpected route to contribute to the game, we too can develop resilience by learning how to persevere when faced with adversity. The knight reminds us that even when we feel boxed in or overwhelmed, we can still find a way to move forward, to think creatively, and to look for opportunities that others might miss. Another key aspect of the knight's psychological resilience is its ability to operate independently. Unlike many other pieces, which often rely on the support of other pieces to be effective, the knight can act on its own. This independence allows the knight to apply pressure in unexpected places, to create threats that are not immediately obvious to the opponent, and to break free from the constraints of the board. In life, this translates to the idea of self-reliance. The knight teaches us that, while collaboration and support from others are important, there are times when we must rely on our own abilities, instincts, and resourcefulness to navigate a challenge. The ability to trust ourselves and act independently, even in the face of uncertainty, is an invaluable trait that the knight exemplifies. The knight's unconventional movement is another psychological lesson in thinking differently. While most other pieces follow predictable patterns, whether it's the bishop's diagonals, the rook's straight lines, or the queen's versatile range, the knight's movement is distinctive and irregular. This unpredictability can be both an advantage and a challenge. On the one hand, the knight can create confusion for the opponent, who may not always anticipate where it will land next. On the other hand, its irregular movement requires the player to think differently about how to use it. The knight forces us to reconsider how we approach a problem. It challenges us to step outside the box and consider new angles, even when the solutions seem elusive or unclear. The knight embodies the idea that sometimes, in order to overcome a challenge or seize an opportunity, we must be willing to break from conventional thinking and explore alternative approaches. The psychological power of unpredictability is also tied to the knight's ability to create moments of surprise. In chess, a well-placed knight can often create a sudden shift in the game's dynamics by threatening an important piece, or even delivering a checkmate in ways that the opponent didn't foresee. This ability to surprise is an important psychological tool that can be applied in many areas of life. It teaches us the value of preparation, but also the importance of remaining flexible and ready to capitalize on unexpected opportunities. Just as the knight can jump into action from a surprising angle, we too can benefit from being prepared to act when an unforeseen moment arises. The key is to remain alert and to recognize when a shift in direction is possible, even if it wasn't part of the original plan. In the broader context of personal growth, the knight's resilience also serves as a metaphor for the process of overcoming setbacks and failures. Much like how the knight's movements can be blocked or restricted by other pieces, we too often encounter obstacles in our lives that seem to prevent progress. However, the knight's ability to jump over obstacles and move around limitations reminds us that setbacks don't have to define us. Rather than allowing challenges to dictate our direction, we can find ways to move forward, even if it means altering our approach or finding new routes. The resilience of the knight teaches us that there is always a way forward, even when the road seems blocked. Moreover, the knight's ability to disrupt the opponent's plans serves as a reminder of the importance of strategic thinking. While many pieces on the chessboard play a more straightforward role, controlling territory, defending other pieces, or attacking directly, the knight is a piece of disruption. It doesn't always act in a conventional manner. It isn't there to control large sections of the board or to maintain a continuous presence. Instead, it waits for the right moment to surprise, to disrupt, and to create chaos in the opponent's strategy. This ability to disrupt is an invaluable skill in life. Sometimes, success doesn't come from playing by the rules or following a set plan. Instead, it comes from recognizing when a moment of disruption is needed, when we can break free from the norm and create a new dynamic that shifts the balance of power in our favor. The knight's resilience also teaches us about the power of persistence. In chess, the knight may not always be the most powerful piece on the board, but it can be one of the most persistent. It can continue to influence the game long after the other pieces have reached their maximum potential. Even when the board is nearly empty, the knight can still create threats and find ways to contribute to the game. This persistence is a psychological trait that is critical for success. It reminds us that even in difficult situations, when it feels like the odds are against us, persistence and resilience can make all the difference. By maintaining focus, continuing to adapt, and staying true to our goals, we can overcome even the most challenging obstacles. The knight's resilience also plays a key role in its ability to cooperate with other pieces. While the knight is often seen as a piece that operates independently, it also has a unique ability to work in tandem with other pieces to create complex strategies. For instance, a knight can support an attack by setting up a pin or a fork, or it can cover a key square that another piece is aiming for. This cooperative nature reflects the idea that resilience is not just about working alone, but also about knowing how to interact with others to achieve a common goal. In life, this reminds us that while self-reliance is important, we must also be able to collaborate and use our strengths in conjunction with others to create a stronger, more effective strategy. Ultimately, the Knight's psychological resilience is a reflection of the importance of adaptability, creativity, and persistence in overcoming challenges. Its ability to move in unpredictable ways, jump over obstacles, and disrupt the opponent's plans makes it one of the most versatile and resilient pieces on the chessboard. In life, the Knight's resilience teaches us that, no matter how complex or difficult the situation may seem, there is always a way forward. We don't need to follow a linear path or be constrained by the limitations in front of us. Instead, we can find new routes, take unexpected actions, and persist through adversity, just as the Knight does, time and time again. The Knight's ability to support other pieces in a subtle yet impactful manner is one of the aspects that make it an essential part of a player's strategic toolkit. Unlike more dominant pieces like the queen or rook, which can command large areas of the board and strike directly at the opponent, the Knight often works in the background, positioning itself in such a way that it can protect or support other pieces without being immediately noticed. This concept of support may seem understated, but it carries profound psychological significance. The Knight's role as a supportive piece demonstrates the importance of subtlety, patience, and precision in both chess and life. In a chess game, the Knight often operates as a complementary piece, supporting the more powerful pieces or adding layers of defense to an already strong position. Its ability to jump over other pieces and reach critical squares allows it to cover areas that other pieces cannot, making it invaluable for both defense and offense. In life, this concept of supporting roles can be applied to various situations, whether in professional environments, relationships, or community efforts. We often encounter challenges where we are not the focal point or the dominant force, but our influence can still be significant. Like the Knight, we might not always be in the spotlight, but by strategically positioning ourselves and offering support, we can contribute to the success of a larger effort. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Knight's support function is its ability to create complex combinations with other pieces. In chess, a Knight's position often helps set up tactical opportunities that other pieces can then capitalize on. For example, a Knight may threaten to capture a piece, forcing the opponent to move it, which can then open the door for a more powerful piece like the queen or rook to launch an attack. This idea of setting up opportunities for other pieces mirrors the concept of collaboration in life. Many of the most impactful contributions we make are not always the ones where we take the lead, but rather those where we set the stage for others to succeed. By positioning ourselves effectively, we can create opportunities for others to shine, furthering the collective goal, while still maintaining our own sense of purpose and value. The psychological concept of support is often tied to the idea of helping without seeking recognition. In a chess game, the Knight's support is often quiet and indirect. It doesn't seek the limelight, and it is not always the piece that delivers the final blow. However, its presence on the board is critical, and without it, many of the tactical opportunities that arise would not be possible. In life, this reminds us that not every action we take needs to be about personal recognition or being the center of attention. Sometimes, our greatest contributions come in the form of quiet support and behind-the-scenes work. Whether it's helping a colleague without taking credit, supporting a friend through a difficult time, or contributing to a cause without seeking fame, these forms of support can be just as powerful, if not more so, than more overt actions. Additionally, the knight's role as a supporting piece also reveals a deeper layer of strategic thinking, the importance of positioning. A knight's support is most effective when it is in the right place at the right time. It may not be able to affect the game as dramatically as a queen or rook, but when positioned correctly, it can make all the difference. Its ability to jump to a wide variety of squares allows it to respond to threats quickly and to move in ways that other pieces cannot. This highlights the psychological principle of situational awareness, the ability to assess the current environment, understand where support is needed, and position ourselves in ways that enable us to make an impact when the moment arrives. In a similar vein, the knight's supporting role emphasizes the importance of flexibility. Its unique movement allows it to navigate the board in a variety of ways, adapting to different situations and shifting focus as needed. In life, this teaches us the value of being flexible and open to change. While there are moments when we must take charge and lead, there are other times when we need to step back and let others take the lead, offering support where it is most needed. Like the knight, we can develop the ability to shift our approach based on the situation, providing help in ways that others might not anticipate. Another aspect of the knight's supporting function is its ability to protect other pieces. The knight is often positioned in a way that shields more vulnerable pieces, ensuring that they are safe from attacks or threats. In this sense, the knight serves as a protector, quietly standing guard over its fellow pieces. This protective role is a key element of the knight's value, as it can often prevent the opponent from easily attacking a critical piece. In life, this protective instinct mirrors the importance of looking out for those around us. Whether in our families, friendships, or workplaces, we often find ourselves in situations where we are called upon to protect and defend others. Like the knight, we might not always be the one who takes the most direct action, but our role as a protector can be just as vital to the success and well-being of the group. The knight's ability to support also underscores the importance of patience and timing. A knight's support is most effective when it is deployed at the right moment. A poorly timed move can waste its potential, leaving the piece vulnerable or ineffective. Similarly, in life, timing is a critical factor when it comes to offering support. Sometimes, the best way to assist others is by stepping back and allowing them to find their own path, offering support only when it is needed. Other times, we may need to step forward and offer help in a more direct way. The knight teaches us that the key to effective support lies in knowing when to act and when to wait, recognizing that timing and patience are essential to ensuring our efforts make the greatest impact. Furthermore, the knight's support also involves an element of foresight. In many cases, the knight's actions are not about responding to an immediate threat, but rather about preparing the board for future moves. A knight might place itself in a position where it can protect key squares or set up an attack for later. This aspect of foresight encourages us to think ahead and consider how our current actions will affect the future. Whether in personal development, career planning, or relationships, we can learn from the knight's ability to position itself for future success, preparing ourselves and those around us for challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. The knight's support also ties into the concept of mutual benefit. In chess, supporting other pieces is not a selfless act. It benefits the knight as well. By positioning itself effectively to support an attack or defend a critical piece, the knight increases its own chances of success. This mutual benefit highlights the idea that supporting others often leads to shared success. In life, collaboration and support often work in similar ways. When we help others succeed, we also create opportunities for our own success. By lifting others up, we can create a dynamic where everyone benefits, working together toward a common goal. The knight's supportive role reinforces the idea that mutual support is a cornerstone of collective achievement. Finally, the knight's support function can be seen as an embodiment of the power of quiet influence. In a game of chess, the knight doesn't dominate the board with sheer force, but rather exerts influence through positioning and timing. It may not always be the most visible piece, but its support is integral to the success of many strategies. In life, this idea of quiet influence is important, particularly in environments where loud, aggressive actions dominate the landscape. Often, it is the subtle support, the behind-the-scenes work, and the quiet leadership that makes the most difference. Like the knight, we can learn to exert influence not through overt actions, but through careful positioning, thoughtful support, and a deep understanding of the needs of those around us. The knight's ability to support other pieces in such a quiet, yet powerful way is a reminder that strength doesn't always need to be loud or dominant. Sometimes, the most effective support is the kind that works in the background, ensuring that others are positioned for success and that the overall strategy is strengthened. The knight teaches us that even the most subtle actions can have far-reaching consequences, and that our role in supporting others can be just as powerful, if not more so, than the more overt roles we might play. By embracing the knight's approach to support, we can contribute to the success of those around us, while also positioning ourselves for long-term growth and success. The knight's ability to execute a powerful attack, particularly through the use of forks, is one of its most defining features. A knight's attack is often unexpected, and it can create situations where an opponent's pieces are caught in a vulnerable position, unable to escape the pressure. This tactical maneuver, known as a fork, allows the knight to threaten multiple pieces at once, putting the opponent in a dilemma where they must choose which piece to save and which one to lose. This aspect of the knight's attacking style speaks to the psychological power of creating dilemmas, where an opponent or an individual is forced into making difficult decisions with limited options. In many ways, the knight's fork represents a unique form of psychological leverage, one that creates tension and forces the opponent to react under pressure. In life, the concept of a fork mirrors situations where we find ourselves in a position where we must choose between several important or competing options, each with significant consequences. Just as a knight forces an opponent to choose between two valuable pieces, life often presents us with situations where we must decide between paths that all seem equally important. The psychological impact of such dilemmas can be intense, and how we respond to these moments can determine the outcome of a challenge or opportunity. The knight's ability to create forks teaches us the value of preparation and the importance of putting ourselves in positions where we can make difficult decisions inevitable for others, while maintaining our own strategic advantage. Another element of the knight's attack that stands out is its ability to strike unexpectedly from unusual angles. Unlike other pieces, which typically move along the grid of the chessboard in straight lines or predictable paths, the knight's movement is more erratic and unpredictable. This makes its attacks harder to foresee, and its ability to suddenly appear in an opponent's territory creates a sense of uncertainty. In psychological terms, this unpredictability can be seen as a form of strategic surprise, an ability to take action in ways that others cannot anticipate. In life, being able to act unexpectedly, whether through creative thinking, unconventional approaches, or surprising interventions, can give us a tactical advantage. The element of surprise can disorient opponents, disrupt their plans, and create opportunities that would not have been possible through more predictable strategies. The knight's attacking style also emphasizes the idea of pressure and timing. A knight's attack is often most effective when it is carefully timed and strategically placed, creating an intense pressure on the opponent. It is not about overwhelming the opponent with brute force, but rather about applying subtle pressure at just the right moment, forcing them to make a move that will ultimately be to their detriment. This pressure element highlights the psychological principle of timing, the ability to wait for the right moment to act. In life, much like in chess, success often depends on our ability to apply pressure at the right moment. Whether it's pushing for promotion, making a significant change in our lives, or even influencing someone's decision, the timing of our actions can be more important than the actions themselves. Knowing when to strike, when to wait, and when to apply subtle pressure can make the difference between success and failure. The knight's attack also speaks to the importance of creating multiple threats simultaneously. In chess, a knight often doesn't just threaten one piece at a time. It can attack in such a way that multiple pieces are under threat simultaneously, forcing the opponent to choose which one to defend. This ability to create multiple threats is an effective psychological strategy, as it makes the opponent feel overwhelmed and less able to focus on any single piece or problem. The knight's capacity to threaten several things at once forces a sense of urgency and prioritization, often leading the opponent to make a mistake in their defense. This concept can be applied to many areas of life, where we find ourselves juggling multiple challenges or opportunities. The ability to address several issues at once, even if only indirectly, creates a sense of forward momentum, signaling that we are in control and forcing others to respond to our priorities. Furthermore, the knight's attack illustrates the importance of indirect influence. While many pieces on the chessboard engage in direct attacks or use obvious threats, the knight is able to create indirect threats that have far-reaching consequences. Its ability to reach squares that other pieces cannot and to control key areas of the board from seemingly innocuous positions is a testament to the power of indirect influence. In life, this principle emphasizes the value of subtlety and the art of influencing situations or people without always needing to be overt. Sometimes, indirect influence, whether through persuasion, encouragement, or even by simply presenting an option, can be more powerful than direct confrontation. Just as the knight can create an attack from a position that might not seem significant at first glance, we too can have a profound impact by positioning ourselves and our actions in ways that others might not immediately recognize. Another powerful aspect of the knight's attack is its ability to function in complex, dynamic situations. While other pieces may be more effective in simpler, less cluttered positions, the knight excels in complexity. Its ability to jump over other pieces allows it to function in crowded spaces, where other pieces might be immobilized or blocked. This ability to thrive in complex situations speaks to the psychological idea of comfort with ambiguity and the capacity to navigate uncertainty. In chess, as in life, we often encounter situations where the path forward is not clear, and many options are blocked or obscured. The knight teaches us that in these moments, it is possible to find creative solutions and take advantage of opportunities that others might miss. The ability to navigate complexity and uncertainty is an invaluable skill that can help us excel in a wide variety of contexts. Moreover, the knight's ability to create an attack from an unexpected position can serve as a metaphor for the power of unconventional thinking. The knight's movement is not linear, and its ability to jump over other pieces means that it doesn't follow the expected patterns that other pieces adhere to. This is particularly useful in situations where the opponent is focused on more traditional lines of attack or defense. By thinking outside the box and approaching problems from unexpected angles, we can create opportunities where others see none. The knight's attack encourages us to question the conventional and explore new possibilities, recognizing that sometimes the best solution comes from the least expected direction. The knight's attack also underscores the importance of tactical awareness and vision. The knight doesn't just move randomly. It is placed with the intention of creating a specific, calculated impact. Every attack made by the knight is part of a broader strategy, and it is often a precursor to a larger, more decisive move. This concept speaks to the psychological principle of foresight, the ability to plan ahead and anticipate the consequences of our actions. The knight's attack teaches us that, in order to be truly effective, we must not only act with intention, but also maintain awareness of how our actions fit into the larger picture. This is a key principle in both chess and life. Strategic vision allows us to move purposefully, even in situations that might seem chaotic or unpredictable. The knight's ability to deliver an attack while remaining hidden or less obvious is also a powerful tool in psychological warfare. In chess, the knight can often threaten pieces without being immediately noticed, which gives it an element of surprise. The opponent might overlook the knight's threat, assuming it poses no danger, only to find themselves caught in a devastating fork or trapped by its indirect influence. In life, this reflects the importance of subtlety and the ability to operate in ways that are not immediately recognized by others. Sometimes, our most effective actions are those that are not obvious to everyone else, giving us the element of surprise and allowing us to create leverage when it's most needed. Finally, the knight's role as an attacker illustrates the importance of patience and perseverance in achieving success. While other pieces may engage in more straightforward attacks, the knight's attack often requires careful positioning and patience. It may need to wait for the right moment to strike, or it may need to create multiple threats before the opponent realizes the full scope of the danger. This slow buildup of pressure and its eventual payoff teaches us that in many situations, success does not come from a quick, decisive blow, but from consistent effort, strategic positioning, and the ability to wait for the right moment to act. The knight's attack is a powerful reminder that patience, when combined with tactical foresight, can lead to significant outcomes, even if the path to success is not immediately apparent. In summary, the knight's attack serves as a rich source of psychological insights, from creating dilemmas and applying indirect pressure, to executing attacks from unexpected angles and thriving in complex situations. The knight embodies the power of strategic thinking, patience, and adaptability. Its ability to strike from unconventional positions and create multiple threats at once makes it a force to be reckoned with on the chessboard. Likewise, in life, the principles of the knight's attack, subtlety, surprise, foresight, and perseverance can help us navigate challenges, capitalize on opportunities, and ultimately succeed in ways that are not always immediately obvious to others. The knight's role in the middle game of chess is one of transformation, adapting from a supporting role to an attacking powerhouse. The middle game is often where the game truly comes to life. It is when both players transition from the opening phase, where development is key, to a more complex and dynamic phase, where strategy and tactics unfold rapidly. Here, the knight becomes an increasingly valuable asset, demonstrating the power of versatility. Unlike other pieces that might maintain their strategic direction or influence, the knight often thrives on its ability to adapt and change its role, shifting from defense to offense in the blink of an eye. This capacity to adjust to the needs of the game is not just an important chess principle, but one that resonates deeply on a psychological level, illustrating how flexibility and adaptability can be the keys to success in times of uncertainty or change. During the middle game, the knight's ability to move in an L shape allows it to maneuver in ways that are distinct from other pieces. This unique movement pattern enables the knight to traverse through dense clusters of pieces, where other pieces may be trapped or restricted. This ability to weave through complexity is a powerful metaphor for life. Often, we find ourselves in situations where things aren't linear, where the direct path forward isn't immediately clear, and obstacles seem to block our progress. Just as the knight navigates its way through a crowded board, we too must learn to adapt, to find creative solutions, and to make our way forward even when the path seems uncertain. The knight teaches us that, when faced with obstacles, it is not always about brute force or direct confrontation, but about finding the right angle, the right approach, and being willing to change direction when needed. The versatility of the knight is also showcased through its ability to shift between offensive and defensive roles during the middle game. In some situations, the knight may be positioned to protect key pieces or to block an opponent's attack, contributing to the stability of one's position. In other moments, it may suddenly leap forward into enemy territory, threatening critical pieces or setting up a tactical shot. This dual function highlights the psychological power of being able to switch between different approaches depending on the evolving needs of the situation. In life, there are times when we must be the stabilizing force, ensuring that things remain secure and well-positioned. At other times, we must take risks, seizing opportunities and making bold moves to drive progress. The knight, with its ability to play both roles effectively, teaches us the importance of balancing caution and boldness, of knowing when to act aggressively and when to pull back and fortify our position. Another aspect of the knight's role in the middle game is its ability to control key squares and limit the movement of the opponent's pieces. A well-placed knight can restrict the opponent's options, making it difficult for them to develop their pieces or carry out their plans. This concept of control through subtlety is deeply psychological. Often in life, we find that true power comes not from overwhelming force, but from creating situations where others have limited choices or are forced into a position where their actions are predictable. Like the knight, we can assert influence not through overt dominance, but by carefully managing the space and choices around us. This ability to control the flow of a situation without overtly displaying power is a crucial skill in both professional and personal interactions. The knight demonstrates that control does not always have to be aggressive. It can be achieved through careful positioning and awareness of the larger context. In the middle game, the knight's ability to create and threaten multiple opportunities is particularly valuable. It can often put pressure on several pieces simultaneously, forcing the opponent to divide their attention and resources. This creates a sense of urgency and makes it difficult for the opponent to defend against all of the knight's threats. This aspect of the knight's play teaches us the importance of creating multiple options in our own lives. When we find ourselves with several paths open, each with its own potential, we are better able to handle obstacles and setbacks, because we are not reliant on a single strategy or outcome. Just as a knight's ability to threaten multiple pieces can overwhelm an opponent, having multiple strategies or approaches in life can keep us resilient and adaptable when things don't go as planned. The knight's role in creating a web of threats also shows the value of being proactive, of staying ahead of the curve, and of making sure that we are not just reacting to the present situation, but positioning ourselves to shape future outcomes. The transition from the middle game to the end game is often marked by the redefinition of the knight's role. As fewer pieces remain on the board, the knight's unique abilities become more pronounced. In the end game, where fewer pieces are in play and the board is often more open, the knight's ability to jump over other pieces becomes a crucial asset. Unlike the more linear movement of rooks and queens, which are often restricted by the reduced space of the board, the knight continues to move freely, making it an agile and versatile piece in the closing stages of the game. This illustrates an important psychological principle: the value of agility. In life, as we progress through different stages, the demands on us change, and the ways in which we succeed may shift. At the start of a career, for example, we may rely more on foundational skills and methods, but as we gain experience, the ability to adapt and apply our expertise in new and flexible ways becomes the defining trait that enables us to thrive in more complex, dynamic environments. The knight's performance in the endgame emphasizes the importance of retaining agility and adaptability as we move through different phases of life or work. In the endgame, the knight's ability to control important squares and create complex threats becomes increasingly valuable. When fewer pieces remain on the board, the knight's ability to check the opponent's king, deliver forks, and capture valuable pieces becomes more impactful. The knight's role in the endgame illustrates how sometimes seemingly minor contributions or unassuming actions can have the most significant consequences. In life, this serves as a reminder that even when things seem quiet or when we are in a phase where our influence is less obvious, the strategic positioning we do now can lay the groundwork for major victories down the road. The knight's quiet but precise actions during the endgame highlight the value of making every move count, of leveraging even the smallest opportunities to their fullest potential. The psychological theme of persistence is also highlighted through the knight's endgame role. In the early stages of the game, knights often feel like they are in the background, playing secondary roles to the queen, rooks, and bishops. But as the game progresses, the knight's unique abilities come into sharper focus, and its value increases exponentially. This gradual rise to prominence demonstrates the importance of persistence and the idea that success is not always immediate. Just as the knight becomes more effective in the endgame, we too may find that our greatest value is revealed not in the early stages of a project or effort, but through continued perseverance, refining our skills and understanding as time passes. The knight's endgame role reminds us that sometimes we must simply wait for the right time to shine, knowing that our efforts will eventually bear fruit. Ultimately, the knight's ability to contribute meaningfully throughout all stages of the game, from the opening through to the end game, shows the importance of being multifaceted, adaptable, and ready to evolve as circumstances change. In life, the key to success often lies in our ability to adapt to different environments and make the most of our unique strengths. The knight, with its unpredictable movement, its ability to shift roles between attack and defense, and its constant capacity to surprise and innovate, serves as a powerful model for navigating the complex landscape of both chess and life. The psychological impact of the knight's movement on the chessboard is profound, as it directly challenges conventional strategies and forces both the player and the opponent to think in more creative, nuanced ways. One of the knight's most significant psychological contributions is its ability to disrupt the opponent's thinking, creating an atmosphere of uncertainty. The knight's movement is inherently irregular, unpredictable, and often difficult to foresee. Unlike the linear progression of rooks or bishops, the knight leaps over pieces and can attack from angles that are not immediately obvious. This irregular movement mirrors the concept of cognitive disruption, challenging the status quo and forcing the opponent to reevaluate their plans. In life, we often encounter individuals, situations, or moments that disrupt our usual way of thinking or force us to reconsider our assumptions. These disruptions can be unsettling at first, but they can also lead to breakthroughs, creativity, and new insights, much like how the knight can turn the tide of a game through its unexpected moves. This ability of the knight to disrupt and challenge conventional thinking speaks to the value of breaking free from rigid patterns. In chess, a player who becomes too predictable, sticking to conventional lines and tactics, can fall into a trap of complacency. The opponent may anticipate every move and counteract it accordingly. The knight, with its unpredictable movements, prevents this by forcing the player to think outside of traditional patterns. In life, this principle speaks to the importance of flexibility and open-mindedness. When we become too set in our ways, we close ourselves off from new opportunities and approaches. Like the knight, we can embrace new strategies, try unconventional solutions, and make room for unexpected ideas. The psychological power of unpredictability is evident in the way the knight alters the course of the game, keeping the opponent on edge and forcing them to constantly reassess their plans. Another powerful psychological concept that arises from the knight's movement is the ability to operate under conditions of complexity. In chess, the middle and end game phases are often characterized by crowded boards, where pieces are in close proximity, and every move must be carefully considered. The knight thrives in such complexity, able to maneuver around obstacles and attack from angles that others cannot. This highlights the psychological principle of flourishing under pressure, of performing well even when the situation seems chaotic or overwhelming. In life, we are often presented with situations that are complex, messy, or uncertain. Just as the knight manages to find opportunities where others might see none, we can cultivate the ability to excel in these environments by staying focused, flexible, and resourceful. Finally, the knight's psychological significance is rooted in its ability to connect disparate elements of the game. Its movement allows it to reach corners of the board that other pieces cannot access, creating connections between otherwise isolated areas. This ability to form links between distant parts of the game speaks to the psychological importance of networking and building connections. In both chess and life, the power of strategic relationships cannot be overstated. The knight's ability to bridge gaps and create opportunities through its connections is a reminder that building a network of allies, supporters, and collaborators can be one of the most powerful forces for achieving success. Through its unique movements, adaptability, and surprising power, the knight serves as a profound psychological metaphor, teaching us about flexibility, disruption, perseverance, and connection. It reminds us that sometimes the most impactful forces are those that seem small or unassuming at first glance, yet have the potential to change the course of the game.